Hi, all. I'm Dan Smigrod, founder of the We Get Around Network Forum. Today is Thursday, September 23, 2021, and you're watching WGAN TV live at 5. We have an awesome show for you today. Introduction to Giraffe 360 for real estate agents and brokers. And here to talk to us to do show and tell about Giraffe 360 is Andrew Congleton. He's Senior Account Executive with Giraffe 360. Hey, Andrew, good to see you.
Hey, Dan, thanks so much for having me. Excited to be here.
Awesome. Thanks, Andrew. Giraffe 360, the name of the company, the name of the camera, and the name of the platform. And with Giraffe 360 camera and platform, a real estate agent or broker can shoot, process, host, share, and view 360 virtual tours, photos, floor plans, and remote viewing. So take us into a demo, if you would. If you could show us the visual content
Sure.
Giraffe 360 camera creates.
Excellent.
And I know I'll ask you for, if you can go ahead and share, I'll go ahead and ask you about the camera. But first, let's start with the visual content that Giraffe 360 creates. Great.
Awesome. Let's do it. So what I've done here, Dan, I shared my screen out. You should be looking at the back end of our software. So any of the content that you capture will immediately be sent here and accessed by you as an end user of Giraffe. So we've got a few properties here that we've shot. What you're seeing here is one, the virtual tour, two, our still images, and then third, we have our floor plans. So start off here, just pulling up a floor plan real quick. This is something that our editing team will put together. This is going to be a color-coded layout schematic of the property.
And I see that the floor plan is both in metric and feet and inches. If I just want feet and inches, is that okay?
Yeah, that is okay if you just want feet and inches. We have clients internationally, so you may see some European measures in some of these floor plans, but that is absolutely possible.
Great. If you could go back to the floor plan just for a moment. I saw that it was powered by Giraffe 360 in the bottom. If I just want my real estate agent brand, logo, name, company, can I just put that in there?
Sure. Branding is absolutely available. We can do branded and unbranded on all your content.
And then on these floor plans, I see a disclaimer. Can I have the words that I want on my disclaimer?
We could edit those disclaimer words for you. That's just something you'd want to run past your account manager, but that is absolutely a customization we can make for you.
Great. And last question on the floor plan. If I have a specific color palette for our real estate agent brand, can I get the color coding in different colors?
The rooms are pretty set as the colors we offer, but your branding of the project and the color schemes that you want to implement there can absolutely be tailored.
Okay, great. So that's the floor plan that's created by Giraffe 360 from using the Giraffe 360 camera. I'll ask you more questions about that. I'm really curious to see the Giraffe 360 virtual tour.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to close out of this here and then jump into a tour. Recommend open this up in a new window, team, just because in this demo environment here, this does open in a little smaller window. So to all of our users, when you want to navigate the tour, you get a little bigger screen here when you open it up in a new tab. Tour-wise, the first thing you'll notice is there is an interactive floor plan here to the bottom left. You can always navigate the property here by clicking around to different scan points. We're absolutely able to shoot outside. If you're looking to shoot in broad daylight, if you're looking to shoot, we even have done some tours at night. That's not something the camera is going to run into many issues with. We'll add navigation buttons into your tours. We'll talk a little bit more about the editing service here in a second, Dan, but navigating the tour, it's a pretty simple process. You drag, click, hold your mouse down to navigate around, look up and down, look around your surroundings. You can click into these different rooms using the navigation arrows that our editing team will add. But a couple of things we like to point out when we're walking through these tours. One, zooming in through windows, great image quality, dealing with natural light, It's not going to be washed out. Going to be able to really get a good experience of what it looks like in this room. What does the view from my bedroom look like? What does the view from my office look like? You'll also notice there's no reflection of the giraffe here in this window. If I were to toggle over to another tour and we walked into the front door of this specific property, there's actually a big mirror here. We're going to remove that giraffe. There will be no reflection in any of your tours. And you'll notice here, very clean image quality, no broken artifacts. All the shapes of the structure really hold their integrity. Doesn't look like the ceiling's caving in. The corners really look like corners. They're not rounded, things like that. So just navigating through the tour here, just to give everyone an example, this is what you'd get with the giraffe. There's another great window shot.
Okay, so I do notice that the lighting is not blown out looking through the windows. It actually looks awesome. So is that because of the time of day that you shot, or regardless of the time of day, it's going to look awesome?
Regardless of the time of day, it's going to look awesome. It's really just due to the quality of the camera. These tours are shot in up to 270 megapixel.
So let's hold off on the specs on the camera. I still just want to see kind of the virtual tour experience. So I think what I've seen is that I can walk around either by using arrows, and that arrow into a door indicates I'm going to go inside. Yeah.
Correct. So we have navigation arrows, and then a white circle is a scan point.
Okay. And so you could click on any of the scan points on the interactive map that's in the bottom left.
Yeah. So I can bounce over here, just bounce across the property. If we wanted to, for example, go upstairs, we could look at the floor plan upstairs and pick out a certain spot or a certain room that we wanted to bounce into. Really easy to navigate. It's just a matter of clicking where you want to go, whether that's via the interactive floor plan or through the navigation buttons.
I looked at this tour earlier today, Andrew, and I noticed that when I was at the bottom of the stairs on the ground level, it's probably true on the top level as well, but there, boom, there's a little arrow that's pointing down. So I can actually go from upstairs to downstairs by going with a down arrow or the up arrow to go upstairs, or
correct,
navigate on the interactive map to get there.
That's correct.
I see a couple of other things that I'm looking at. In the bottom left corner is an arrow. Bottom left.
This will just hide your floor plan.
Okay, and then if you show it again, then I see an eye.
This is for the approximate total area of the property. You can also see, as you click around, individual measurements for your scan point. So this hallway is 171 and some change square feet.
Okay, great. And there's a little tree. What's the tree tell us?
This is actually a little arrow telling us that we're going outside. So we can bounce to the outside view of the backyard or to the front. If you had more than two views, those would also load here as well. If there was a side yard, maybe even wanted to walk down the street and shoot a park that was nearby. That's something that could be done here as well.
Okay, great. And then I just see two other items in the bottom right corner.
Yeah, so this is going to be a chat. So this will actually send inquiry and information to the listing agent. It's going to be sent via an email. It can be programmed as a live chat if you would like. And then this is just to enter full screen mode.
Okay, great. So is there anything else to show or tell us about Giraffe 360 virtual tours?
No, not on the tours. We do have a unique spin on the tours that we could jump in and still have some still images we could look at.
How about, do you want to show remote viewing at this point while we're in the tour, or?
The remote viewing is probably a good place for us to jump to. So Dan, I believe I've sent you a link so that you can join this.
Okay, so before I join, tell me what we're looking at here.
So what this is actually a virtual tour that we captured. It's a different property from what we've been viewing, but this is something that we provide for all of our properties where a listing agent could join their client in a property. You're able to join via video chat. You can turn your mic on and really just control the tour. Whoever's guiding the tour can navigate. Or Dan, if I wanted to pass you the baton here, I can give you control And now it's telling me my guest is in control. Dan can walk through the tour, and I'm just here as a guide to answer questions, to point out things that may be important to Dan during his search.
So I'm just curious, in this particular apartment, to look out the window. Again, I just find the view amazing.
Yeah, it's absolutely something we're proud of and have focused on.
And the quality of the virtual tour, the images look super sharp and nice color saturation. Is there something you want to tell us about that?
Yeah, I mean, our tours are shot in flat bracketed images. So there's a little bit of auto stitching going on, but we also do have the human touch. There's an editing team behind the scenes making sure all this looks top notch when it comes out published.
Okay, great. I'll ask you more about that when we're looking at the camera.
Absolutely.
Just curious if you got so I don't see the camera in the mirror.
Yeah,
Okay, great.
Any reflections we'll remove. So to your point, Dan, mirrors, shower reflections, stove fronts, all that, you won't see the giraffe anywhere in your tour.
Okay, great. And then I could imagine you could take back control of navigation and
at any point. These buttons up top basically dictate who's in control. So now I've taken back control, and now I'm able to walk you through the property and point out stuff that I want.
Okay. And just for clarification, prior to WGAN TV Live at 5, you shared the link with me. That could have been sharing the link with me by email or by text, and that I could be doing this on a smartphone, tablet, laptop, or desktop.
Yeah, absolutely. Our tours do great on mobile devices. Same with these remote viewings. This link is all you need to share. Send it to your client, any channel you can get it to them, and they'll be able to join you.
Okay, awesome. How about we come out of the virtual tour and maybe talk about some other visual content that is created by Giraffe 360?
Absolutely. Aside from the virtual tours, we also capture still photography. This is not an image that we crop and pull out of the virtual tour. While that is a possibility, these are actually taken with another lens. So it's a bracketed still image. You'll notice again that the reflection of the giraffe has been removed from the mirror. It's not showing here in the shower reflection. Again, these are going to be images that flat HDR, high resolution photos. Our editing team is going to get to work. You can download them, use them in.
Andrew, I just see one image. Can you flip through some more images for us?
Sure, absolutely.
And if my MLS requires a different size?
You can publish in any size you want. There's multiple sizes available. Just need to communicate that to your account manager.
Great. So I could set up the default for my market that my MLS uses.
That is correct. So we can do branded, we can do unbranded. It's really up to you, whatever you need on these flat images.
Okay. And again, on these images, I'm noticing the color, the clarity, the sharpness, looking outside the windows, it all looks beautiful.
Absolutely. That's back to the lens, the bracketed photo, and the editing. It's something that we put a huge emphasis on. It's the clarity and the color of these photos, making sure they really do pop off the page.
Okay, great. I'm going to ask you some more questions when you're showing us the camera. How about we move to the camera? You've showed us the content that gets created, the Giraffe 360 virtual tour, the Giraffe 360 photos, the Giraffe 360 floor plan, color floor plan, and also the Giraffe 360 remote viewing feature. You got a camera that's behind you. I'm dying to see how it works. Can you take us through the Giraffe 360 camera?
Yeah, I can. So this camera's, it's included in all the subscriptions that we roll out. We give this away essentially for free to our customers. So this is the Model 3 camera. The first thing I point out is, one, there's a power button here on the side. Obviously, it's important for turning it on, but it also has a lot of meaning when it comes to uploading content. This content from this camera goes immediately to your back end. You don't need an iPad. You don't need to do any uploading. Simply take the camera home, wherever you're connected to Wi-Fi, turn it on, turn it off, the content comes to us.
Okay, so you've gone a little bit fast for me. This is awesome. I put the camera on the tripod. So I turn on the camera. That
Yeah,
was the button on the side.
turn on the camera. What's first going to pop up is going to be our display screen here. So this is going to be always on. It's going to give you pointers, tips, basically tell you how to operate the camera. Right now, it's telling me to set this on the tripod. So to set it on the tripod, we've got a magnetic sensor here. This tripod is something we'll ship out as part of our subscription. It's almost like a smart connection, if you will. When you connect the camera to the tripod, it knows it's ready to shoot. So now we've got two buttons here to use to navigate.
That was it? It's on? I don't have to worry about it popping off?
That's it. It's on. It's a magnetic sensor. It's secure. It rotates around. You can spin it for shooting your stills, capturing your angles. But that's all it takes to get it on the tripod.
Okay, so go slowly. Tell me how to shoot. How do I shoot with the Giraffe 360 camera?
Push one button. This is going to be your still. You can probably see my hand moving behind the screen. It's a little dark in here. But this has a few angles you can shoot in. It's a very simple process to take your still. We recommend everyone put it in the corner, put it in the door, push your button, photo snapped. That's it.
I'm a little bit confused. The first button you hit was on the left side, and then you went and hit the right side. So what just happened?
Yeah, if you can see the buttons, one's actually an X to close out or cancel. One's actually a capture.
Okay, so the first thing that you did when you hit the X on the left side?
This is can you see the icons, Dan?
No, it's a little bit hard.
This is a camera photo, and this is a circular scan looking icon. So these are the two modes you use to capture. We touch the camera, and then it's either capture or cancel.
And then if you cancel,
it just takes you back out to give you your option to do a scan or a still again.
Okay, so then on the right side, you would see the button for the tour, virtual tour.
Correct. This is the virtual tour button. This is the still image button.
Okay, so let's go back to the still image. That's where you started. So tell us about the camera, the Giraffe 360 camera for still photography.
Yeah, the only thing we don't manufacture in the camera are the lenses. We use a Sony HDR lens. So the still photography is going to be shot with that. It will be bracketed. And there's a few angles that you can capture this in. Pretty straightforward on the stills. There's not a lot of moving parts going into it. We wanted to design it to be super simple, set in the corner, capture some content.
Okay, so on the camera, I believe I saw on the website either 100 degrees, 110, or 120 degrees. Does the camera decide what angle, what point of view, what wide angle it should use when it takes the picture?
So there's a yes and a no to that. When you set the camera down, it has some sensors in it. It knows how far away it is from walls and different areas in the room, and it will adjust the lens, the angle to shoot in. You can also just easily tap on the screen. So if you have a good eye for how you want to shoot, maybe you want a room a little wider, that's okay. Just tap your screen and take your photo.
Okay, so this is actually a still camera. We're not talking about taking snapshots or screen grabs out of the virtual tour itself. We're talking about using the Giraffe 360 first as a still photography camera, and it's going to do HDR, wide angle. I want to say it's a very large file. Is it like 96 megapixel or something? It is
up to 96 megapixel on the still images, correct?
Okay. And I think there was some other magic about, okay, now these pictures, I've gone through the house, I've taken my still pictures. We'll talk about upload in a second, but when it does get uploaded, there's actually people on the other end looking at it. And if the camera was in the mirror, they would edit the camera out.
Yeah, that's correct. On any of the stills or the tours, reflections, broken artifacts, all that stuff will be edited and scrubbed out. Even if there were some like family photos or sensitive information that were shown, maybe there's a license plate captured outside or something like that, we would blur that out as well.
Okay. So, and how long does it take to take a picture? A traditional 2D HDR picture?
Traditional 2D HDR picture probably takes about 30 seconds. So it's going to do some bracketing. It's going to take some photos on a grid, and then it's going to show a preview on the screen of that photo.
So I'm a little bit confused. The camera is moving.
Correct.
I just want to take a still picture. What's happening?
So since it's shooting in this wide angle, it's going through and snapping on a grid high, low, and across the room. So you'll actually see, well, as it rotates, you're seeing the little grids as they're captured while it's going through and capturing that still photo.
So the still picture might be made up of, I'm thinking like, is it like a tic-tac-toe board? There's 9 squares on that?
Yeah, it looks like there are actually six squares. So it'd be top, bottom, and then 1, 2, 3.
So if it's 6 squares and it's doing HDR, there's probably 3 images per square. So you're literally taking 18 pictures to stitch them together to create one HDR wide angle 96 megapixel image.
I don't know if that's the exact technical specifications. I can definitely check on the number of pictures, but there are a few snaps that are taken to ensure that the integrity, everything's there, and it really does capture a strong image, no wall lean, stuff like that.
Okay, cool. Is there anything else to tell us about taking photos with the Giraffe 360 camera?
No, while we do have the lens that's separate for still photography, you still can extract images out of your tours if you would like. That's just a caveat that we like to mention, but that's it for the stills.
And how do I know when the still is done taking pictures?
It'll actually tell you done. I'm not sure if the screen is showing well, but
it's a little too small for me to see.
Telling me done, and it's showing me actually a preview of what I just captured. And then I just click this check and it puts me back into the main screen where I can scan or take another photo.
Okay, great. Andrew, can you take us through Giraffe 360 camera shooting 360 virtual tours?
Yeah. So the first thing that happens when we shoot a tour is actually going to be a LiDAR measurement of the room. So as I put this into scan mode, there's a LiDAR laser here, this black bar that's spinning. It's going to go around and rotate. It does 200,000 points of measurement in a little less than 15 seconds. It's the first thing it does. The second thing it does is then go around and start capturing your tour. Right now, my screen's telling me to leave the room, get out of the way. You can walk behind the camera, as you see while it's rotating, but we've added a little bell. So you step out, answer an email, do whatever you need to do. It'll chime, letting you know that the scan's done.
So the first rotation of the camera is related to capturing data, depth data, using the LiDAR. How is that LiDAR depth data used by Captured? Is that have to do with creating the tour? Is that related to the floor plans?
We use the LiDAR to create the floor plans. So that's where the measurement comes from. Our LiDAR is 98% accurate. So those measurements you saw in the tour when we were on like a room or in a hallway, that's coming from the LiDAR. And then the floor plans that we saw, those were also generated via the LiDAR.
Okay. As we've been talking, the Giraffe 360 is still doing something. What's happening?
Yeah, it's making a virtual tour of me right now. It's going around snapping a bunch of photos. The way that we create the tours, we take them all with bracketed stills. So there's some auto stitching that we do, but there's also the human editing element as well. So the camera is going around and snapping photos floor to ceiling, wall to wall, and capturing all that content for us to create.
So when I shoot a 360 virtual tour using a Giraffe 360 camera, do I need to have the camera in line of sight from 360 to 360, or it doesn't matter?
It doesn't need to be in line of sight from 360 to 360. You just need to do one scan per room. What we recommend is put it as close to the middle of the room as you can. There's really no science. Wherever you think the best spot to capture content is, that's probably your best bet. Go put it there. Only time you're going to need to do more than one scan a room is if you have an L shape or a corner that you can't see around. Other than that, it should just be a place and capture exercise.
So it's really a personal preference of whether I want to have a walking around experience walking down the hall, entering the bedroom, being in the bedroom, or whether I just want to be able to say, I'm going to have the fewest 360 scans that I can imagine, one in each room, a few outside, and that's all I need. And the people at the back end at Giraffe 360, they are putting together the 360 tour based on the LiDAR data, I imagine, is guiding them. They're creating the floor plan, and they can figure out all the different rooms and where all these puzzle pieces fit. They don't need to have a scan connecting the hallway going into each bedroom.
Well, the beauty of it is that wherever you scan, you're doing a 360 and a floor plan. So our editors are able to really look at that and use that data to, aside from the auto stitching, go in and make changes on their own. If they need to add, for example, a toilet or a sink to a certain area, that's something we can pick up on. You are also, sorry, the scan's done there.
Is that what
that's the alarm? Yep, that's what the alarm sounds like when that scan's done. It chimes. It is loud. I've done my own house. You can hear it upstairs, downstairs, wherever you are. So
okay, so when you normally shoot a 360, you don't want to be in the shot, so you're going to step out of the room, but it's loud enough that you can actually hear it chime that it's time to come back in. If I decide that I really don't want to hear that chime, can I turn it off?
Okay, and so I was talking about the power button here to turn it off and to upload the content. This other button here is just the mute button for the chime. So you can just flip this switch that turns the sound off or keep it on.
Okay, and then is there I imagine there's a battery in there. How long does that battery last?
There's no real like scientific time that we can claim, so to speak. It really depends on a few elements: how many properties you're doing, how big is the property, how's the lighting in the house, things like that. We designed this to be able to capture 5 apartments in a day. So for a US agent or someone looking to capture single family homes, probably 2,000 square foot homes before you need to charge. Our charger is a micro USB, so super easy to charge on the road. You can plug it into your car and charge it up while you're traveling to your next site.
It looks a little precarious to have the camera on the tripod and be charging while I'm driving. So help me understand, how do I charge while I'm driving? I do actually have a converter that's in my car that lets me run a laptop and multiple devices, but I'm just trying to think about what does the camera look like when it's getting charged in the camera while I'm driving to the next job?
So we have this case that we do send out to everyone. That's what holds the camera. Here actually is the charger inside as well. All you need to do, though, to charge this up is simply take it off the tripod, put it here in your case. Sorry, I'll get this back in view for you here in a second.
Yep.
And then there's a little charging port right here. You just plug your charger in, you're good to go. You could even zip the case up and keep it right there on your passenger seat, wherever you're charging at.
So the case and the camera has actually been designed as make it super easy and super safe to do your charging on the go. Not that you have to have the camera set up on a tripod in order to reveal the place to plug in the charge.
Certainly.
Okay. So if you could pop it back on the tripod, that's awesome. Let's assume you've done 15 or 25 360s of your space. How does that get back to Giraffe 360?
Yeah. So like I was talking about with the power button, it's honestly one of the most important buttons on the camera because that's how all the upload happens. When a Giraffe camera is purchased, when a customer signs up for the subscription, the first thing we do is actually configure your camera to your Wi-Fi network, to your home, to your office. We can do it to multiple. And all you need to do is take the camera home, back to the office, wherever that Wi-Fi is, turn the camera on. Shutting it off sends all the content to our editors into the cloud. You don't need to do anything to upload it to your computer. There's no action you need to take at all.
I'm lost. Okay, I've walked back into the house with the camera turned off.
Turn it on, turn it off, contents to the team.
The turn on, turn off was, you said that so quickly. Do I wait for something to happen?
Nope.
If I turn the camera on and turn it off, then it's transmitting even while the camera's off?
Yes. So while you are connected to Wi-Fi, turning the camera on and then shutting it down will upload all the content right to our team, even while the camera is off. Shutting it off is the control that sends all that data over to the cloud and to the editors.
That essentially says you're done for the day shooting. The next step is to upload.
Correct.
Okay.
You can postpone an upload too. If you got home and you were like, I don't want to upload this one yet, that's fine. You can postpone it. But it's really a set and forget. We really say at the end of the day, go home, turn it on, turn it off, step away from the camera. The next day, you'll see everything in your console.
Okay, so there's a lot there. Let me see if I can break it down. First, how long does it take to actually upload? If I shot a 2,500 square foot house in the morning and 2,500 square foot house in the evening, and maybe that's, let's say, total of 50 360s, maybe a total of 50 high resolution photos.
Yeah, I mean, from an upload perspective, there's not a time we can guarantee on the upload. There's a lot of data to be transferred. I would say it's going to be, if you shot 2 houses the size you shot, it's going to take a couple hours to get all that stuff over.
Okay, so even though we have a super fast internet in our house and other people may not have as fast an access, I guess what I'm hearing is it really doesn't matter when you turn off the camera, it's actually uploading. So that's the last thing that you do in your day when you get home. You walk in, turn the camera on, turn the camera off. Is there some positive reinforcement that I get that it's actually uploading?
There's actually a status bar. It'll say project uploading here on your screen. I just canceled my upload, so it's saying my upload's postponed here on the side. But this would also say you're 25%, 50% done with your upload.
Okay. Cool. And then I don't have to worry about waking up at 4 a.m, turning the camera off. It's going to sleep when it's done doing its thing.
Correct. You've already shut it off, so you're good to go.
Okay. So now I've gotten home. Let's say I'm in the United States. I'm in Atlanta. I come home in a nice hour, 5 or 6 o'clock. I plug in the camera. When do I get back the 360 virtual tour, the Giraffe 360 photos, the floor plan, the interactive floor plan? How long does it take to get back the visual content?
24 to 48 hours, a little longer on the tours and floor plans due to the stitching. The way it works is, you're in Atlanta, I'm here in Atlanta with you. We'd be shutting our stuff down at the end of the day and uploading it to our editing team, which is actually in London. So when we're sleeping, they're editing. It's about a 24-hour turnaround, maybe a little longer just to some of the human element that we have to stitch together. I always tell everyone 48 hours on the tour just to feel like we're setting a good expectation, but likely sooner. Okay.
So under promise, over deliver. Can I push you a little bit? Is there some sense, if I'm in the United States, that you are getting assets back overnight? Or at the moment, so assets, if I plug in the camera when I get back in at a reasonable hour tonight, then tomorrow when I wake up, they actually might be waiting for me. That's not something that you want to promise. I hear you're promising 48 hours, but at the moment it looks like it's running, call it 12 or 15 hour turnaround.
Yeah, that's a good way to frame it. Next day, when you wake up, your stuff being there and ready for you is not uncommon, but it could take a little longer.
Okay, so you were walking us through the camera. There's just the button to turn it on and off on the side. There's a button to mute, hearing it ding or not ding.
Yep.
There's a little bit of an information bar that's telling you what's happening. There's 2 buttons. is one button if you want to take still pictures, and there's one button if you want to take 360 pictures.
Yep, that's it. That is all you need to operate it.
Can't you make it harder?
I'm sure we could. I don't know if we want to do that just on my own merit. But
well, maybe that actually, leads into maybe talking a little bit about the Giraffe 360 company and its vision. Can you fill us in a little bit more about Giraffe 360 and its history?
Yeah, for sure. So we were founded in 2016. We have offices, Riga, Latvia. That's where our CEO Mikas is from. That's where manufacturing is done. London.
Mikas Opelts. That's the founder and CEO. Okay.
Correct. Atlanta, and then also, like I mentioned, in London. Mikas, when he really started this company, he was doing tours for hospitality. And the tools, the hardware, the software to create the content at the level he wanted to create it just didn't exist. So out of frustration, he went out and created Giraffe 360. That's really, at the end of the day, where the company came from. So vision at a super high level for us is to make super high quality content that's really engaging and immersive at a low price point and make it easy. A couple of buttons to push. Don't need to do any uploading or editing on your own. Basically leaning on the camera and a team of professional editors to make all this content that you're going to use to sell and market your properties. It's kind of where we're coming from.
And how big is Giraffe 360?
Yeah, we're 120 employees and growing. We're just now getting to the US. So for the past 2 years, we've been really the leading brand for this, London to Tokyo. Got clients in 26 countries, scanned north of 1.5 million properties by now. So really looking to grow. This is kind of our welcome to America moment, so to speak. I have a colleague, Dean, that's out in Alaska, believe it or not, and we're spreading the word, meeting with folks like Dan to get the Giraffe 360 news out. And
you mentioned 26 countries. Can you order a Giraffe 360 subscription anywhere in the world?
Yeah, anywhere in the world, we'll ship it out. We've got people that speak multiple languages too. So if you need us, we're here to help.
Okay, awesome. So specifically you and Dean are North and South America?
Yeah, pretty much anything that's in the Americas. That's what we're covering.
Okay. Before I ask you about how much, I'm sure our viewers are interested in, well, how much? I thought I'd mention two websites. First, the main website for Giraffe 360, GIRAFFE 360.com, giraffe360.com. If you're in North America or you're in the United States, there's a special landing page for you for Giraffe 360. The domain name is a little bit long, so we put together a shortcut to get there, wgan.info/Giraffe 360. That's wgan.info/GIRAFFE 360.com. Nope, forgive me. wgan.info/Giraffe 360. So, when you took us through, I'm going to ask you about pricing, but I guess I'm just thinking about when, Mikas was doing content creation, I could imagine that he was using a DSLR camera at that time. And that was the level of quality that he was looking for.
Correct.
So but I'm guessing if you're thinking about the target audience for Giraffe 360 as real estate agents and real estate brokers, that's not a DSLR camera.
Yeah. So, it's the target audience. You're right. We started thinking that this was something that would be for realtors and brokerages. So that's why we made it simple to use. People that aren't necessarily photographers, don't have that background or technical expertise, hence Giraffe. So that I'm not sure of the technicality. I do believe that this isn't an SLR camera. It's an HDR camera. I don't know if they're,
but it's not all the bells and whistles of the camera that I carry.
Correct.
That I literally watched a 6-hour training on my.
Yeah.
Mark III 5, my 5D Mark III Canon camera, took 6 hours of training and then watched it again for everything to go in. Because I'm looking at this camera and going, well, that's really easy to do a 2D photo and a 360 spin.
Yeah, Dan, someone like you, to your point, that's taking a 6-hour training course on a more technical camera, something like this, you're going to pull it out of the box and use it. Our instruction manual actually has 8 steps in it. 2 of those steps are turn the camera on and put it on the tripod. So it's a very simple process. I'm sure you can tell, no photography expertise or background at all. And I pulled this thing out of the box and did a shoot successfully the first time with no training. But that being said, absolutely have an account management team and training we can take our customers through for sure.
Okay, and Andrew, I know we've been talking about real estate agents and brokers. Many we get around network forum community members are professional real estate photographers. Can they subscribe to Giraffe 360 as well if they want?
Absolutely. We love photographers. We're happy to talk to them too. If they see the value and think that this is a good fit for them, then we're absolutely happy to have the conversation.
Awesome. Talk about money. How much?
So I try and make it simple. There's 2 buttons to operate the camera. We've got 2 pricing options. One is 16 properties a month. The other is 4 properties a month. These are both annual subscriptions. So for 16 properties a month, it's $549 a month. That includes everything that we've covered today, the content, the camera, the editing, everything inclusive. The 4 properties per month is $279 a month. Again, all inclusive. These properties, while I'm mentioning 4 and 16 per month, they do roll over. So for example, on the 4, if you did 2 properties in September and 6 in October, that's great. That's fine. They are rollover properties. We do not charge for hosting. We're just focused on that actual capture process.
Well, you mentioned hosting. So just for clarity, so $549 a month for up to 16 locations,
Correct.
Whether it's a condo or a house or yet a commercial space. And I believe the up to 4 properties a month is $279 a month, correct? And I think there's a shipping and handling fee.
Yeah, there's a shipping fee. So this is 2-way shipping. It's $170. I say 2-way because when we update the cameras, when an update to the hardware happens, we send the new version out. The old version is returned. So our clients always have the latest and greatest.
So there's a one-time charge of $179
for shipping, correct? $170.
$170 for shipping and handling. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a lot of questions back to back to back, and they're going to be really naive questions, but I just want to make sure that I've heard everything correctly.
Sure.
So for a flat monthly fee based on an annual commitment?
Annual commitment, correct, 12 months.
And billed in?
Typically billed quarterly.
Okay, so for a easier to understand on a monthly basis, $279 a month, $549 a month, but based on an annual commitment and typically paid on a quarterly basis.
Correct.
Does that include the camera?
It does. Well, the camera's free, so you're always going to have the camera.
It includes the tripod?
Includes the tripod, the case,
the charger,
software, the charger, everything.
It includes shooting unlimited photos on a property.
So that's a good clarification. We count a project as 40 captures. So 40 scans or still images. If you were to go over 40, that's fine. We can still make it one project for your tour. It just impacts your billing and would count as 2 projects.
Okay, got it. So 40 is whether it's 1 360, whether it's 20 360s and 20 photos, that's right. A combined 40.
Correct.
And is there a charge for processing?
There's not.
Is there a charge for hosting?
There is not.
If I want to keep my properties live, even though I've sold them or leased the space, does it time out?
No, it doesn't. As long as you're a customer, your properties are hosted. You'd have to actively tell us that you want it taken offline or deleted for us to go in there and do it. There's no need to worry about managing that at all.
So I could have over time an unlimited number of properties processed and hosted based, of course, on the limits that you talked about, up to 16 per month on the full Giraffe 360 subscription and up to 4 properties per month on the Giraffe 360 small subscription.
Correct.
With the rollover of unused properties.
Correct.
Do you call them properties, tours?
Properties, listings, projects. Yeah.
Okay, let's call it a
scientific term.
Okay. So is there a charge for the floor plan?
No, floor plan, the remote viewing, the content from the stills and the tours, that's included in every project you capture.
On the remote viewing, is there a limit to how long my call can be?
No limit to that either.
Is there a limit to the number of interactive remote viewings I can do?
No limit to the interactive remote viewings. There is 1 guest per remote viewing. That's the limitation to be aware of on that.
Okay, so just you and I. So I'm the agent, you're my client. It's 2. Okay, it's very simple. You mentioned that there's an army of people in London that edit the photos. Is there a charge for that?
Nope, that's all part of the subscription as well.
This army of people in London that are editing the virtual tour, is there a charge for that?
There is not.
Okay, so I just wanted to get clarity on this because I'm trying to understand the dollars, and it really is, it's a flat monthly subscription paid quarterly based on an annual commitment.
That's correct.
And if I did my math correctly on the small Giraffe subscription of $279 a month with up to 4 listings, that would be under $70 per listing. And if I did my math correctly on the $549 a month for up to 16 listings, if I did 16 listings, then that works out to under $35 per listing.
Yep, that is correct.
If I am a customer for, let's say, a year and a half, and I've decided to retire from the business, but I still want my tours to be live, now what?
Good question. We can host for non-customers. That is when hosting is charged, ironically, $69 a month to keep your projects live and hosted.
For an unlimited number of tours. So if over time I've created 50, 100, 200, 500, 1,000, it doesn't matter. It's a flat $69 a month to keep hosting if I no longer have a Giraffe 360 small or full subscription plan.
Absolutely.
Okay, awesome. The camera is included. If there is a new camera that comes out, what happens?
Yeah, if there's a new camera that comes out that is a upgrade to your current hardware, we will send you the new one and you'll send us the old one back.
And can I keep the old one as a backup, or no? It's coming back to us. I'm sure there's some recycling program we have on our end, but it is a swap when that happens. And am I paying for the shipping of getting the new camera or getting the old camera back to you?
Nope. We've got the 170 covers your 2-way shipping.
Regardless of however many times the camera might be upgraded over time. So if I decided to subscribe, probably a better word, if I decided to subscribe to a Giraffe 360 subscription and I get my camera, I don't have to worry that, oh gosh, 2 months from now, a new camera has come out. I got old technology.
You do not have to worry about that at all. No.
Okay. And then tell me about, let's say I decide to go ahead today and subscribe to Giraffe 360. What's the timing? I'm in Atlanta. What's my timing on getting a Giraffe 360 camera?
Yeah, right now we're about 6 to 8 weeks to ship. Got a lot of demand. We're manufacturing these cameras on our own as well. So just a little bit of lead time for us to get the chips, get them into the camera, manufacture them, and ship them out. Shipping is coming from Latvia currently. So 6 to 8 weeks is what you can expect.
So I could imagine that there may be a chip shortage that's affecting everyone on the globe. And I imagine this camera has a chip in it. Is that part of what's holding up the getting it shipped immediately?
Yeah, basically the chips that go in cars, gaming consoles, cell phones, everything we use electronically, we take that same chip. This thing called COVID has hit manufacturing. It's starting to pick up. We're just really trying to get more chips to get them in cameras so we can ship them out.
Okay. One of our We Get Around Network forum members, WGANforum.com, asked about Zillow. How do I get my Giraffe 360 virtual tour into Zillow?
Yeah, we'll give you the embed links that you need to embed those. We don't have a native integration, but it's super easy to get your content and post it on there with the links.
So is there both a branded, unbranded version of everything that's created? Yeah.
Yeah, you can publish your tours and your photos in branded and unbranded versions. That's not a problem for us.
Okay. Excuse me. And I'm just dying to get the camera sooner than later. Is it truly 6 to 8 weeks right now?
Yeah, it is truly 6 to 8 weeks. Now, as we're getting more chip supply, that timeline's going down a little bit, but right now it is 6 to 8 weeks.
And if I decide to wait 6 to 8 weeks to place my subscription order, am I waiting 6 to 8 weeks from that time too? Is the demand such that it's exceeding the ability with the shortage of chips to get them out any faster?
I mean, especially coming to America, we are getting more demand than we've even had just historically in Europe, and it is the same manufacturing center. Now, if you waited 6 to 8 weeks, I would like to think that the shipping time would be decreased. We've got data that shows we're getting quicker on shipping, but there is probably still going to be a delay. So, Dan, if your question is, should I wait off for a little faster delivery? I would say no. If you want it, get it. They are hot. There's not a lot of supply given the demand we have right now.
Okay, and talk to me about billing. Am I getting charged now, and then I'm just paying because I don't have a camera? How does that work?
Yeah, so your first bill will be your shipping and your first payment, and then your subscription starts on delivery of the camera, and your next payment will be due on that schedule. So if it was quarterly, next quarter, so on and so forth.
Let me see if I can repeat back my understanding of that, and then correct me if I'm wrong. So if I go ahead and I get the full Giraffe 360 subscription at $549 a month, and I commit to 12 months, my first bill is going to be $549 times 3 quarterly bill, plus $170 for shipping and handling. My next bill will actually be 30 days after I've received the camera. This is hard because I'm doing months and quarterly. So
if it was a quarterly, it'd be 3 months after. Monthly, it would be the next month.
Okay. So essentially, I'm not being charged while there's a charge that goes through immediately. I'm not being charged my subscription time, if that's the right way of saying it, when I don't have a camera. So essentially, things trigger once I physically get the camera.
Correct. And once you get it, you've already made that first payment. That first payment is just kind of commitment and shipping. We get that out to you. As soon as you get that delivery, that's when your subscription starts. That's your quote unquote first contracting billing day. And then we'd provide the training for the camera as well shortly after.
Okay, so I mentioned two websites, the main website, giraffe360.com, and the special landing page for North America, wgan.info/giraffe360. Takes you to a long URL, but that's a shortcut. So I know when I go to either of those pages, I can book a demo, I can get pricing, I can ask questions. I've just spent an hour hearing you talk. Can I just send you an email?
Yeah, absolutely. Send me an email, send me a text. I'm on LinkedIn. Any way you all want to reach out, we're happy to engage. Feel free to contact us.
Okay, awesome. So Andrew's email is andrew.congleton, CONGLETON @giraffe360.com. Andrew, we've covered quite a bit. What questions haven't I asked you that I really should have asked you?
No, that's a good question. I think you've done a good job running us through what we needed to present. I would just say in closing, the subscription at the end of the day is here to help you make amazing quality content at a fraction of the cost and at a fraction of the work and time you need to invest in creating that content. We're going to handle the editing. The camera is going to do a majority of the work for you capturing. Just take it out, put it on the tripod, push a couple buttons, and you're ready to go. I like to almost compare it to the Uber of real estate photography, so to speak. It's super easy. We all remember when we got our first Uber, we pushed a button and a car showed up. Now you're pushing a button and your 360 tour is showing up. So that's what I would say in closing is kind of a summary for Giraffe 360 and really where we're coming from.
Awesome. So Giraffe 360, the company, Giraffe 360, the camera, Giraffe 360, the platform. With Giraffe 360, the camera and platform, you can shoot 360 tours, have them processed, have them hosted, be able to view them and share them, all for a flat monthly subscription.
That's it. That's it in a nutshell.
And they all look beautiful.
They all look beautiful. That's the cherry on top. They all look gorgeous.
Awesome. Andrew, thanks for being on the show today.
Dan, thanks so much for having us. We really appreciate it.
We've been visiting with Andrew Congleton. He is Senior Account Executive, Giraffe 360. Andrew is based in Atlanta, the headquarters for Giraffe 360 in London. If you want to book a demo, get pricing, ask your questions, follow-up questions, go to giraffe360.com or the special landing page for North America, wgan.info/giraffe360, or just send Andrew an email, andrew.congleton, CONGLETON @giraffe360.com. For Andrew, I am Dan Smakrod, founder of the We Get Around Network Forum, and you've been watching WGAN TV.